Hey everyone, Regal of Use here. It is Wednesday. So I have to admit, this episode was very disappointing. They did have flashbacks in this episode. We actually got to see a little bit of the Monte Cristo tale, and I'm not too familiar about the whole Monte Cristo tale. I have to read the book or the movie, but he was in this episode, and he was part of the Land of Untold Stories, and he, like many of the characters, his first love died, and he wants revenge on his enemies. And the queen offers him a deal that she gives him a list of all of his enemies who did him wrong, in exchange for him killing Snow and Charming. And what was really interesting is the queen was actually taking up sword fighting, which queens don't usually do that, so it was nice to see her being a badass. And she says to Rumple how the students finally surpassed the master, and I knew Rumple wasn't gonna take that down. The queen gave the Monte Cristo this poison that would kill Snow and Charming, and he gained their trust. I mean, Snow and Charming thought that he was one of the villagers that the queen they thought that he was from the village that the queen destroyed. So they gained the trust, and when he was pouring the wine, it was supposed to poison Snow and Charming. But he decided not to, because it would have poisoned his new crush Charlotte, and he loves Charlotte because he looks a lot like his dead fiance. And he decides not to, and Rumple asks him why didn't he, and he explains, that looks like his fiance. And Rumple doesn't want him going near Snow and Charming because he wants them procreating, which I kind of read between the lines, and Rumple wants Snow and Charming to conceive the savior, aka Emma. So he poisons Charlotte, and I thought the same thing too. Why would he poison Charlotte? Why didn't he just kill him? But he explains that if the Count goes to the Untold Stories, then their stories stand still, and as long as he's in the Untold Stories, Charlotte stays alive, so that's where he goes. So, in Storybrooke, the characters are dealing with a lot of things. Belle, well, let me actually start with Emma. Emma is actually seeing Archie for her, visions she's having and her tremors, and he says that she should reveal this to her family, and she really doesn't want to, because she's a savior. She's supposed to save everyone. I mean, what's a savior if you're not saving people? And that made me think that if Emma is the savior, will she try to separate herself and the savior like Regina and the Queen did? And would Rumple try to separate himself from the crocodile so he can win Belle back? So that's kind of interesting. But she still has these visions, and she later goes to Archie and tells him that she's gonna tell her parents, but not yet at the right time. And she's worried about who was in the black coat, who kills her in this vision, and she thinks it's the only person that wasn't in her vision with the family, Regina. And I couldn't believe that she would honestly think it's Regina. I mean, they've all come so far and they've been through so much. And Archie asks her, are you afraid of Regina or the Evil Queen? She said, I don't know. So that just really pissed me off, because we're now 6 seasons into the show, and it seems like we went 6 seasons back where Emma doesn't trust Regina again. It just seems like a big waste of time. Belle is looking for a place to stay because she left Rumple. And I thought for a minute that Emma was going to take Belle as her roommate, but it's actually Hook who's letting Belle stay on his ship, which, I don't know, if Rumple finds out that Hook's keeping her, then he's going to be mad, which Hook doesn't mind that. And when Belle asks why, and Hook says, I guess it's his way of repaying for all that he's done, and that he, I once tried to kill Belle and failed, and he actually shot Belle, and Belle, reassures that he's come a long way since then. The queen is back, and she's definitely wreaking havoc on Storybrooke. Zelena and her go into the Mills family crypt, and she goes to get ingredients for what we don't know yet, and Zelena's concerned that she's going to hurt Regina, but she's only going to teach her a lesson. And we see that in Storybrooke, the Monte Cristo is in Storybrooke, and he wants to kill Snow and Charming, so Emma tries to take him to a safe place, but at the town line, it's this, again, 6 seasons back, that it's the same curse that kept everyone in Storybrooke, and they know it's from the queen, from Regina's vault. So, and Regina sealed that with blood magic, so she thinks that Zelena did it, because obviously Regina didn't do it, and Zelena's the only other person there because she doesn't know the queen's there yet. So Zelena's tired of Regina accusing her, and I'm a little bit tired of the writers, because they made the impression that Zelena and Regina were going to have a different relationship, that they were going to try and be sisters. I mean, they said they were going to be roommates, but they're roommates for like, what, 2 seconds? So they're kind of ruining their relationship. And we find out that we see Regina meet the queen again, and it was quite funny because the queen actually met Henry, and she said, "Mommy's back," and I just started laughing hysterically out loud, because I'm wondering how Henry's going to fit into all this. And Regina's having trouble with her magic, and the queen's basically telling her that she's basically nothing without her. Regina sees that the Count's crush Charlotte is dead, and the queen says, "You can't get rid of me that easily." So the Count and Snow and Charming have this battle on the docks, and we find out that the queen was actually controlling the Count. And what we got to see is Regina sword fighting, and it was really cool, because Regina's always, classy and well put together, but this was interesting. And the Count was about to kill Snow and Charming, and Regina had no choice but to kill the Count to protect Snow and Charming, but that's what the queen wanted. She wanted to awaken a darkness in Regina, so then that way she can be a villain again. And Regina's concerned about that, because she's come so far and she's earned this title of status as hero, and now it looks like people are gonna think she's a villain again. I mean, we're already seeing it with Emma. Henry said at the beginning of the episode that show everyone the hero that you are, and it's funny because Henry never thought that Regina was a hero. He first saw her as a villain, not a hero. So it was very disappointing. And the other thing that disappointed me was we saw the queen meet Rumple in his shop, and he was going to steal this coin. She was going to steal this coin for whatever reason. And we find out that Rumple and the queen might have had a romantic history, and that's actually a bit sickening in a way, because it seems that the queen has been with the same people as Cora has been. So Cora has been with Leopold, and Regina married Leopold. Cora was in love with Rumple, and apparently it's hinted that Regina and Rumple kind of had this thing going on. So that made me think, was the queen ever with Zelena's father, Jonathan? And Rumple made a deal with the queen that with whatever she's doing to leave Belle and their son out of this, and she promises to, but I'm not sure how that will go. I'm not sure Rumple and Belle's relationship's gonna go. I mean, it's clear that Rumple does love Belle, but he's countless times shows magic and power over her, so we'll have to see. It was interesting, the last scene is David goes outside and meets the Queen, and we find out this coin was from David's father, and we got a little bit of what happened to his father, which we've never heard of. We've never known till now what happened. And he apparently got drunk and got into a cart accident, but the Queen says, "Are you sure it was an accident?" So I'm wondering if the Queen killed him or she knows who killed him, because I'm not exactly sure when David's father died, so maybe she knows who killed him. I don't know. Hopefully they'll tell us about that. Next week's preview shows that they're going to bring Cinderella back, and we haven't seen her since season 1, and I think one episode in season 4. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Cinderella. Apparently, it looks like that she might be killing her trying to kill her stepsister next week. So, I can't wait. But this episode was definitely disappointing, and I have to say, if I wasn't already 6 seasons in, I probably would stop watching the show. I'm pretty much like, I've said how many times that I'm tired of the writing and then I'm going to quit watching it, but I'm already 6 seasons in. I'm truly committed to it, and I'm such a fan of Lana and Bex and a lot of the actors and actresses on the show. So, yeah, so I hope the writers keep that in mind. I am happy the fact that I heard online that Sean is coming back, but they've said that he's not coming back from the dead. So there's this one episode called, I think it's called I'll Be Your Mirror. So there's been speculation that Sean's going to come back as the magic mirror. And I really want Sean back. A lot of people miss Sean, and I think it was so unfair what the writers did to him and his character. It's so unfair. I really hate what they're doing to Regina and splitting herself in half, because that made me think, if they kill the Queen, are they going to kill Regina? Because the Queen doesn't have a heart now, so she basically has no conscience. So as long as Regina's alive, then the Queen's alive. And I just didn't like that idea, because I have autism, so what would that be? Separating the quote-unquote bad part of me, and then there's me and there's autism? I just don't think that's right. I mean, autism is a part of me, but it's not who I am. I'm Kelsey. That's just like on the show, the evil Queen isn't who Regina is. Regina is Regina. And I just think the writers are sending bad messages to the fans on the show, and it's truly disappointing. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode as much as I did. If you guys want to see Once Upon a Time, it is on Sundays, 8 p.m. on ABC. I hope you guys enjoyed my recap, and until next time, actually, you know what? For once, I'm going to end it like this. Long live Regina.